Hello everybody, welcome back to CSS3 in 30 days. Today is day number 14, almost halfway through all of the days. Today, we are going to be continuing in a way from where we left off yesterday in day 13, which was a sticky footer. So today we're going to be creating a sticky header. Let's do it. So here is the info page. Again, like day 13, we have an info page, a student page, and a final page. So let me show you what that looks like. The info page here gives you some instructions. It says, let's make a CSS sticky header. There are 3 HTML files for this lesson, index, student, and final.html. I'll show you that in a moment. You can click this button to view the student version. You can click here to view the final version. So let's check out the final version. Here it is. You can see up here, the header is neatly tucked at the top. It's got a little bit of a border or a gradient, maybe both, in fact. And then when I scroll, it sticks to the top and it's slightly transparent. So you can actually see what's behind the header. So it doesn't actually take up too much of the screen estate, so to speak, in your viewport. So when you scroll, it should stick to the very top. When you go back up, everything is good. Now, if I can go back to the student version right here, you can see just the normal header. We're going to turn that into a sticky header. It doesn't actually do anything here. So that's your job / my job to turn that into a sticky header. So why don't we jump over into our code editor and let's check out the files. So we have the 14 sticky header folder with 5 individual files. Go ahead and download that folder. Open it up in your favorite code editor. I suggest Atom or Brackets. Both are free. And some of my veteran students may wonder why I'm not using Coda 2. I do love Coda 2. In fact, I still use it. But for these types of projects, I like playing around with new software to show my students that, hey, you don't have to shell out $100 for a decent software code editor. So Atom is my poison of choice today. And I am going to be opening up my files here. So we got index.html. It's very straightforward. This is just the info page, so you don't even really need to concern yourself with that. The final.html looks a little bit like this. We have a body with the class of sticky header lesson. That is important because we're actually going to be selecting that class. You could just select the body, but specifically I want to select the class. We have a div with the class of sticky header, so this is the header. In fact, you might even want to change this to header, the header tag, to make it more HTML5 semantic. Feel free to do that if you wish. And in there we just have some text. And then after that, it's just some basic content. I specifically put a lot of lorem ipsum in here in paragraph tags so that the page can be long enough to scroll. It's the only reason I did that. And everything else down here is just nothing that you need to concern yourself with. Student.html is the same markup. We got sticky header lesson and sticky header. So we're going to modify that in our sandbox.css. If at any point you want to refer to the final code, final.css is there for you right here. You can always go there and check it out. Now let's get started. Sandbox.css. Let's start with the very, very top. We're going to select body with the class of sticky header lesson. You could also just say sticky header lesson. That would do just fine. It would suffice. The margin top will be the same height as the height of the sticky header itself, plus some space. So I like to give, let's say the sticky header is going to be 180 pixels tall. We want it to be 180 pixels tall plus some, so maybe 20 extra pixels. Let's call it 200 pixels. Margin top, 200 pixels. Good enough? Let's go ahead and style the sticky header. Now what we're going to do is select the background. We're going to say RGBA, and we're going to change that color to 242, 57, 90, 0.9. If you're wondering where I got that, I got it from Photoshop. I was designing this in Photoshop, found the color I wanted, made it a little bit transparent, and I looked at the RGBA colors, or the RGB colors, and then I used A for the alpha channel at 90%. So you can see here, 242 is the first, that's red. G is green. This is the numeric value in the green scale. And then B is 90 in the B spectrum of the color, and then this last value is the alpha channel, also known as how much opacity you want that color to have. So that's why I use RGBA. And now let's go down and we're going to simply say position fix. Now when you position fix something, you fix it in place wherever you place it based on your top value that you set. So we're going to say position fixed and top will be 0. right at the very top. And the height of the sticky header is going to be 180 pixels. Remember, we talked about that just a moment ago. Now, the width of this needs to be 100 pixels because, 100%. The reason why it needs to be 100% wide is because when you position fix something, it actually doesn't know how wide it needs to be. So if you look in the browser here, it's actually all jumbled over to the left. So we'll fix that by simply saying width 100%. Now, if I save that, it's perfectly the right width, and you can even see a little bit of the background there, and it is fixed to the top, so it is sticking there, but it's behind everything. So we want it to be in front of everything, and we will solve that with some z-index. We're going to change that to 99. That should bring it up in front of anything that's on the page. And let's finish it off with just a little detail. Box shadow 0, 0, 10 pixels, RGBA. Let's go for 0, 0, 0, and 0.2. Save that. And that should give it a nice look. The problem here is the text. So everything's stuck to the top, and we're getting on the right track here, but the text doesn't fit within the fixed height. And that's a problem. So all we got to do is restyle that. So let's go down below sticky header, and we're going to simply style sticky header H1. Let's start there. And we're going to change the font size to 2.8 rem. Then the line height to 3.2 rem. Margin 0 auto. Let's save that and see what that looks like. Looking much better. It's fitting within there. Now all I want to do is change the size of the small text. So this is the H1, and then this is two small tags within the H1. I want it to be a smaller font size. So that will simply be sticky header H1 small, and then font size 2 rem, something a little bit smaller. And that, when I refresh, should solve the problem. Day 14 sticky header student version. Scroll down. Our sticky header is looking good. You could see that 200 pixels right here is the distance, the margin top of the content, the body, so that it gives some space. So you have the 20 pixel gap here to make it look like margin from the sticky header. And there is your sticky header. I love sticky headers. I use them in my websites. In fact, I think right now on my blog, I have a sticky header when you scroll down. It's just a nice way to keep the navigation at the very top. Your brand sticks to the top and your navigation sticks to the top. One little tip or maybe challenge for you, if you want to take this a little step further, is use, if you are familiar with JavaScript or jQuery, simply when you have a scroll event, when you scroll down beyond a certain amount of pixels, let's say 200 pixels, the distance of this gap, this whole header shrinks even more in size so that there is more space to read what's on the screen. So maybe you want to shrink it to half the height, let's say 100 pixels or 90 pixels if you want to go exactly half. You need to shrink everything, the font size, maybe remove the small tags and just have sticky header so that you could fit everything. And then when you scroll back up, you can have that visible again. Feel free to try that if you want. I'm not going to cover it in this because that's specifically a JavaScript or a jQuery challenge, but it's something that I do in my sites. I love doing sticky headers, but when you scroll down, if you have a big header, it covers a lot of the screen, so you might want to change that height. The alternative is just to make a smaller sticky header that's always stuck to the top. Now that's it for day 14, the sticky header. I hope you enjoyed that lesson. See you tomorrow in day 15 for more CSS fun.